Jim Ryan joins us, ABC News.
Mr. Magoo.
Jim spends most of his time in Dallas,
yes, sir,
where you got plenty of pavement to see bad drivers.
Yeah.
We have bad drivers here. I would just say that the large university study that I'm waiting for my grant for is, since the pandemic ended, driving has never been worse.
Yeah. Well, you're right. You're right. And in fact, we saw this 10% increase in fatal car crashes between 2020 and 2022. What was happening in those 2 years? The pandemic.
Right.
Was that Mr. Magoo? That must have been Mr. Magoo that you were playing
yes.
there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I recognize
that.
Yeah,
Mr. Magoo passed me this morning in a Rambler.
He was smiling, though.
So what do we know statistically or poll-wise or study-wise? What do you have?
This is interesting. Forbes Advisor put this together.
Oh,
Steve.
Forbes. They know what they're doing. They got a little money.
Forbes.
They went out there and they looked at NHTSA and National Highway Traffic Safety Administration statistics and Census Bureau and police records and crash records and all sorts of stuff to come up with a pretty thorough examination. They took the 50 largest cities in the country, paired them up with these 5 metrics looking at car crashes to determine who has the worst drivers in the country, which city. Mm-hmm. Top of the list was surprising to me.
Top of the list.
Go ahead.
Dying of suspense.
Atlanta.
No.
Phoenix.
Anybody else?
Wisconsin?
Worst drivers in America. Pick your city.
Somewhere in Florida.
Yeah.
Florida hardly makes the list even. I was surprised
Who
about
is it?
that. Albuquerque, New Mexico.
What? No way. Well,
Albuquerque.
they're all high, literally and figuratively, so...
Well, that might be part of it here,
right.
considering that, they legalized marijuana here a couple of years ago. Albuquerque has the highest number of fatal car accidents involving a distracted driver. It ranks 3rd for fatal car accidents overall, 3rd highest in drunk driving accidents. So Albuquerque is right there, top of the list, ranking 100 out of 100 in terms of the country's worst drivers. Second,
what's the theory, though? Why would that be?
I'm not sure.
They don't offer theories in the
the weed
list, right?
thing. No, they don't. They don't. But your weed theory there kind of holds water, I think, right? Like a bong or something.
Like a water bong.
Steve and his water pipes.
I'm looking at the top 10 with you now. I'm just got
sir.
this up here. The number 2, I would never guess number 2.
Memphis, Tennessee, what? Well, it's kind of a party town, right? But at the same time, you don't see New Orleans. New Orleans is the consummate party town. Las Vegas, neither of those two places.
Because they're taking Ubers.
That's probably it, yeah. The people they get smart and they take Ubers. Two of the top 10 cities are in Texas. Dallas is up there, and Fort Worth is up there. Which isn't surprising to me, living in Dallas-Fort Worth, that the drivers here are terrible, because they are.
Well, is there something going on in the mountains? Tucson at number 4. Tucson's in the hills. Albuquerque's in the hills. What's happening there, do we think? I can't go by the Albuquerque thing. I think gentle hot air balloons.
Right.
I think calm weather.
A lot of TV shows, like kind of the crazy TV shows, are set in Albuquerque.
Sure.
So perhaps people are trying to live out. Exactly.
That's all
Jane
the meth
with
labs.
the meth. So Steve's got the water pipes. Jane with
you got the meth labs.
Crack.
Yeah. What about the best drivers?
Well, this list didn't look at it, so I went to a different place for that.
Okay.
The autoinsurance.org took a look at this, and it's a fair thing because, the higher the crash rate, the more fatal accidents, the higher insurance rates. They also looked at the NHTSA stats and came up with the best places. They didn't look at cities, but they looked at states. So, according to autoinsurance.org, the best drivers are found in Connecticut. Second, Hawaii. Third, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts? Have they been to Boston?
Apparently not.
Good God, Boston's like, Rome. You take your life in your hands if you step into the street.
Connecticut is so spot on for that. When you think about Connecticut,
because they're all
you
very
think,
proper.
Yeah, so you think about like goody two-shoes, we've got it.
I'm on the way to New Canaan for some coffee. Would you like to join me?
Driving your Buick Regal.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So I guess that makes sense. And the insurance folks certainly know who's running into who.
All right. Exactly.
Were there any other surprises deeper on the list? Because, look, we think Chicago, we think Atlanta, we think even L.A.
Yeah.
Well, Chicago, surprisingly, it was way down at number 31 in terms of fatal car accidents.
Oh, you know why? We're better drivers.
Well,
we're going
apparently.
120, but we're not hitting each other.
Right.
Yeah, Chicago, 31. The number of people killed in fatal car crashes, 6.35 per 100,000 residents. That's how they make this. They average and make everything even. So you can take a city like Chicago and also a place like Long Beach, California. You look at the number of people killed per 100,000 to, make everything even, right?
Sure.
Chicago had, not as many drunk driving crashes as a place like Baltimore or Columbus, but it had more people involved in distracted driving accidents than Baltimore or Columbus. 2.57 crashes, fatal crashes involving a distracted driver in Chicago.
Yeah, well, and it's really remarkable we don't have more of this every day with people staring at their phones. And the thing that happens, and this is why...
And watching movies in car, by the way.
Yeah.
Or YouTube videos.
Yeah, and
texting,
porn.
calling.
I've heard.
Eating breakfast.
But this is why, and I'm being serious about this, because I do this sometimes. It's not a good idea. You're at a stop sign, or you're at a light, and you're the second car, and the guy in front of you gets the green, doesn't go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you wait a second, and then you hit the horn,
right.
and then they overreact and they jump.
Yep.
And it's you can. I saw this the other day. Almost ran over a kid crossing, because they overreacted to the horn, and then they jumped out into traffic where they should have made the turn. So A, pay attention,
right.
but B, easy on the honk, Henry. So.
Well, the question I have is, these drivers, and we just talked about it, they're going, 90, 100 miles an hour when the lanes are wide open early in the morning. They never get pulled over. Mm-hmm. Why don't they ever get pulled over?
My theory on that is that a lot of police departments, they'd rather keep the traffic moving. Even if you're in a group or in a sort of a wolf pack right out on the freeway and you're all doing 75, nobody's going much faster or much slower than that. I think the police would rather see that, everybody exceeding the speed limit, but doing so kind of at the same time, right, to keep things moving, rather than they start pulling people out of these wolf packs. Then it can cause problems there. So, that's my theory, at least. Could be totally off base.
What happens when everybody's got driverless cars?
Oh, boy.
That's going to be crazy.
That's when I stay home.
Theoretically, it's going to be great, and we'll see a reduction in fatal crashes, right?
Really?
That's what Elon Musk says, anyway.
Tell it to the computer. Tell it to the computer. Jim, great as always. Thank you, man.
Wow. Thanks, Jim.
See you guys.
There you go, Jim
Drive
Ryan.
carefully.
Yes.
Buckle up. Hands on the wheel.
News, who did that entire report while driving an 18-wheeler.
2 and 10.
Oh, wow.
2 and 10.
It was very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
How about Milwaukee, 19th of the worst?
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. So, there's
We're
some...
31.
Yeah,
There's really no rhyme or reason to this list.
Florida, Jacksonville was 14. Tampa was 10. You get out west into California, you figured L.A. Well, Bakersfield, California. And Fresno. What in Fresno was the big hurry? Trying to get away from raisins? What's going on there?
I used to work with a radio guy. His name is Dead Air Dave. He works in Fresno. Maybe it's him.
That could be. No, it absolutely could be. But not a single top 50 or top 25 hit for any city in Illinois. Good for you. Go as fast as you want. Just keep missing stuff.